You might have recall a news story from last year. There was some interest in the fire departments and the firefighters in California, and the interest was that there were too many white men who were firefighters, and we need to have a program in California to make sure we don't have enough white men as firefighters.
We have been good enough to build this country. We are good enough to serve and die overseas. We are good enough to serve in other ways. The fact is, stop trying to act as if only white men are the ones that are capable. Because right now, you're sitting at a table with 3 very capable black women.
I'm not.
This video is brought to you by TatumStore.com, TatumStore.com. Make sure you get the merch link in the description section. Ladies and gentlemen, got some brand new merch for y'all. My favorite, the Trump Dan shirt, but also, we ain't gonna have these long. Literally, we made doormats. We laser etch them right here. You can see how it looks. I got one in my house. My wife posted online and people went crazy. Right now, I think we only have about 20 of them. So you better get it now if you want one. We have to go and try to restock soon, but the doormats are my absolute favorite. But we have a whole bunch of other new stuff. We got a front back version of the Trump Seal shirt. We got the blue version, and you guys begged me to do this. So we got different colors. So we decided to at least do a blue, a red, and a gray in this shirt. And in the front back, we got a black, we got a gray, and we got a red. So make sure you go on. Discount code is at the very top up here. It's called SEAL20 to get 20% off. And if you are a Tatum Squad member, we got a special discount for you. So make sure you check the community tab. If you are a member, we got something special for you on the community tab. And if you want to know how to be a Tatum Squad member, all you got to do is click join, and you can be a Tatum Squad member today and get a crazy discount. Like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live. Y'all already know what to do. Let's get into this. I want to play the Joe Rogan clip, because when we speak about incompetency, and like my dad was saying, it's not the water issue, even though they probably have an issue with water, but the way that the fire hydrants work, they don't technically necessarily should run out of water, right? The water system is flowing through whatever avenue, whether it's the ocean or something else that they are drafting this water from a lake or something of that nature. They have a system where they can get this water into the fire hydrants that's a constant flow. But it's not the problem, because they don't have even if the thing could flow for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they're not gonna be able to put the fire out. But the management of the forests and the management of lands in anticipation that something like this could happen is where they failed miserably. And this is what Joe Rogan had to say about it. Roll it.
I talked to a fireman once. This is one of the reasons that freaked me out. And he was telling me, he goes, dude, one day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind and fire's going to start in the right place, and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean, and there's not a thing we can do about it. I go, really? He goes, yeah, we just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA, and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. Because these fires are so big, dude. When they're talking about like thousands of acres that are burning simultaneously with like 40-mile-an-hour winds. And the wind's just blowing embers through the air, and those embers are landing on roofs, and those houses are going up, and they're landing on bushes, and those bushes are going up, and everything's dry. And once it happens in a way where it's so spread out that there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do.
You just have to evacuate, right?
Nothing they can do.
And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. And this is exactly what my dad was mentioning, that there's absolutely nothing they're going to be able to do. They got to let the fire it's going to burn everything in its way until it has nothing else to burn. And they can't do anything about it. The firefighters can't do anything about it. They can mitigate and try to rescue people and do things here and there, but they're not going to be able to stop a fire with winds blowing 70 miles per hour. It's just going to just blow through, and everything it can burn, it will burn. And those embers that fly through the air, man, they're flying probably miles ahead of where the fire is at. So now it's starting new fires, and the heat is just bringing an accelerant, and the firefighters are having a hard time. And one thing I was going to do, and I want you guys to know, that's why I haven't done it, is that I was going to do a fundraiser and do that, but I think we got to hold off on it, because what you don't want to do is bombard the system, right? You got somebody that's going, like right now, my wife has a friend who's going to Costco and getting supplies for the fire department, the fire station, so they can have them water and stuff like that. And she's probably doing a couple $100s at a time. What you don't want to do is give somebody like that $30,000 because everybody wants to contribute, and the person is overwhelmed and don't have enough resources and time to get all of that product. Or you don't want somebody to buy $40,000 worth of water and supplies and it's just sitting somewhere because they have nowhere to put it. So we just should be honest about holding off on that. let's go to Scott Jennings. I always love listening to Scott Jennings whoop people over the head on CNN. And he's describing the DEI hire situation, which arguably is the lack thereof properly assorting resources instead of focusing on DEI and all of this old stupid stuff. They should have been focusing on making sure they have all the resources that they need, that they weren't firing officers or firing firefighters for not getting this Fauci ouchie, and that they had enough firefighters to probably go out and do land management to a certain degree. I don't know if that's the firefighters' responsibility, but maybe they could. But listen to your boy Scott Jennings on here whooping them over DEI and the fire department's backlash. Roll the clip.
You might have recall a news story from last year. There was some interest in the fire departments and the firefighters in California. And the interest was that there were too many white men who were firefighters, and we need to have a program in California to make sure we don't have enough white men as firefighters. So we have DEI, we have budget cuts, and yet I'm wondering now, if your house was burning down, how much do you care what color the firefighters
you
are?
can respond, and then we'll...
Listen, I am so tired. You know what? There was an article that just came out that said that actually the most educated demographic in this country right now is black women. So let me be clear. Because you are a woman, or because I know that some of the right has been sharing these photos of the fact that I believe that the fire chief may be a woman or something, that has nothing to do with it. We are looking at qualifications. What diversity, equity, and inclusion has always been about is saying, you know what? Open this up. Don't just look at the white men. Open it up and recognize that other people can be qualified. And the fact that we want to, at a time when people are dying, decide that a country of immigrants is failing, or people are dying because the same very people that built this country, because the last time I checked, y'all didn't say that anything was wrong with the White House, and I can promise you it was my ancestors that built the White House. So listen, if we have been good enough to build this country, we are good enough to serve and die overseas, we are good enough to serve in other ways. And the fact that people actually decide that they want to engage in public service, whether it's sitting in Congress or whether it's serving on the fire department or the police department, should not be an issue. The fact is, stop trying to act as if only white men are the ones that are capable. Because right now, you're sitting at a table with 3 very capable black women.
I'm not.
Okay. Ma'am, you just explained why the education system must be a fraud. If you are claiming that black women are the most educated group of people in America, something has gone wrong in our education system, because black people are probably the dumbest demographic out of anybody in America politically, for sure. When you have 90+% voting for a Democrat because she a woman, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Then you go off and you say women are educated, black women are not getting married. That's the dumbest thing you can do as a woman, is for you to try to be intentionally say, I don't need no man and I'm gonna be single. Do you understand what generational wealth, what you could be doing as far as accumulating generational wealth by having a partner in crime, raising them kids, and also helping you generate massive wealth? The difference between black people and other people is that other people are getting married. That's why they do better. Look at the young men that are being produced by black women. I'm just keeping it real. Single mothers are producing serial killers and thugs, and some of them do a good job. Some of them do a good job. They got good men that they raise, whatever. That's far few in between. They are destroying men. When you look at, and this is why I wish that she was telling the truth, and I can probably give her a little credit. But when you look at the people who are unalive and the unborn, by and large, per capita, is black women. Does that sound like leaders in education to you? Not getting married is not a very smart approach to have on life. Then not only is the single parenthood created, it's exacerbated, celebrated, and then now, what are you producing? Now black men are struggling because these mamas who chose to be that way in many cases, are they bringing around dudes that ain't worth a dime, or are causing the community to fall? If education and the way in which she presented it was a determining factor of success, then black women would be the most successful if you claim that they're the most educated. However, education, common sense, Education without God is pointless. It's aimless. It's nothing but a piece of paper that you got somewhere because they didn't influx the DEI hire system where they just getting all these black women and saying, look at here, cheer, first black woman do this, first black woman do this. But you ain't learning nothing. You cannot tell me that black women are the most educated as if that matters when they voting like they do. You're not going to convince me otherwise. Education is more than just a letter and a piece of paper in a school you attended. There's a level of wisdom that comes along with education that actually make people smart. If you're educated with no wisdom, you're actually not smart at all. If you have IQ but no EQ, then you're not going to be as productive in society. Anybody can, when I say anybody, you could be born intelligent or smart, put 5 + 5 and 25,000 to the umpteenth power and do all that. You can put numbers together. Yeah, they make your IQ good, or at least it's expressive of what your IQ is, but that don't mean you got no street sense. That don't mean you got no common sense. I know plenty of people that didn't go to school and they doing better than people that got 4 master's degrees. But that woman irks me because I would love to see a truly educated black woman go out and say that, and I'd be like, yeah, I can't lie. She got it together, man. She's smart. She's intelligent. She's balanced. Every black woman I see on CNN is a nut. Every one of them nutty. You can't even talk to them. Even on TV, Joy Reid. Joy Reid is a nut. You look at Sonny Hostin, a nut. Kamala Harris, the worst vice president and presidential candidate on the Democrat Party almost in history. All right, let's move on. We talk about the fire. In 2023, Los Angeles reported 13,909 fires associated with homeless encampments, nearly doubling the number from 2020. This is the Emma Mitchum thing that I was talking about. Most of this we were able to verify. This is the incompetence that we're explaining. The water reservations and stuff like that. It's here nor there. But when you have 13,000 fires started by homeless people just last year, doubling from 2020. So it doubled in 4 years. Like, what are you doing? We don't know exactly how this fire started. I just pray to God. We'll never know probably. I just pray to God it wasn't a homeless person that they should have never had lay up under a bridge or something, trying to cook something outside, started a fire. He didn't ran off somewhere. And now the most devastating fire probably in California, Southern California history is afoot. Zero forest management. Now, I don't know if it was zero, but it seems to be minimal forest management. The mayor cut the fire department's funding by $17 million. The question with that is why? Why would they cut the fire department budget by $17 million? And what residual effects did it have on it? Why are we giving money to Ukraine when we should be focusing all our efforts, energy, and resources in making sure that California don't burn to the ground? They have fires every year, and every year it seems that they're incapable of managing these fires to a reasonable degree. It literally looks like Armageddon, like every 3 years in California. Like this is end times fires that we see. At least the pictures are showing. And the fact that right now they have zero containment, and they probably are never going to have containment. It's just going to have to burn till it's tired of burning, or till the wind start blowing in the opposite direction. It's troubling to me. All right, I could go on for 10 hours about this. I think they cut us short on Seabass too, Karen Bass, who she should resign, in my opinion. But you know what? Black women gonna make sure she stay in power.